Hello everyone and welcome back to Data Cloud Now's live coverage of Snowflake Summit in Las Vegas, the world's largest data and AI conference. I'm now joined by Srini Nachinarkiniar, Global Snowflake Practice Lead, and Tom Stuermer, Snowflake Business Group Lead for Accenture. Gentlemen, such a pleasure to have Accenture back on Data Cloud Now.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
You know, Srini, since we last spoke, what trends in the data space have you observed and what's top of mind for you in Accenture?
First of all, thank you for having us on the show, Ryan. We are excited to be back in Summit as the Global Delivery Partner of the Year. Over the past 6-7 months since we met last, there are few trends which have gained significant momentum thanks to Gen AI.
Right.
The first trend which I notice is the increased focus on non-traditional data. Things like geospatial data, sensor data, genomic data, data locked inside multimedia files, printed documents and emails. Earlier, people used to think it's very prohibitive to extract the data out of that and then blend it with normal traditional data sources. Now with Gen AI, they have a clear path. You know that it's pretty easy to extract data and blend it together and create unified insights. So people are consciously investing on modern data platforms which will do this with ease. Even Snowflake's recent acquisitions as well as recent capabilities are like playing straight into this capability. That's the first trend which I notice. The second trend that I'm often noticing is the emergence of what I call as a composable industry clouds, which is a framework of building blocks on the cloud with its own functionality where customers can just blend it all together and build a new application or new industry use case at ease. Customers as well as vendors realize that they can't keep up with the pace of innovation on their own. If you want to be relevant in the industry, you need to collaborate with your counterparts. And that's what, this collaboration used to be more process-centric till some time back. Now they realize that it's more and more of data-centric collaboration. Not only just data, you even share the insights and models and everything is being shared. So I foresee a lot more industry-specific solutions evolving out of this collaboration. The third trend, which is foundational to the previous two, is about trust and transparency of the data. As the chain of the value creation is split across multiple parties, it's very critical that the process of creating lineage or trust has to be embedded into each node of this value chain. It is yielding to kind of newer patterns. Accenture has been doing this forever, but now we feel that the contribution that we can make is even more. So we're all excited. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you mentioned collaboration. The Data Cloud ecosystem is all around us, and thank you for your insight, Srini. And as we both know, as the three of us know, talk of Summit is very much Gen AI and LLMs. Tom, would love your perspective and what you're noticing in the space.
Well, so first of all, I would point out, there is a lot of hype around generative AI, and I would fundamentally tell you that what we're seeing in the marketplace is that it is one of the most transformational technology gestations and shifts ever. And the impact in our clients, both in terms of the focus it's creating for them and the opportunities that we are already realizing with those clients is very real. Now, we've recently done a survey with about 800 of our CXOs across our client base. And what we discovered from that is that 97% of those clients, 97% have plans and intent to go deploy generative AI inside their businesses. 97%. 67%, 2/3 of them, recognize already that they need to make increasing investments in this day and age of cost pressures and inflation, that they need to make increasing investments in the core data architectures and infrastructure and digital core of their businesses in order to realize the benefits that generative AI can create for them. Only 50% of those clients have actually started down this path.
Only 50%?
Only 50%.
Okay.
So, and I'm talking not just Gen AI, but really mobilizing the digital core of their business. And so it's a very interesting review, right? There's a huge opportunity when I just look at, for Accenture, for Snowflake, for people in the ecosystem, and for our clients. There is a lot of investment and a lot of unjarring of attention around the data challenges that we've been talking about for years with our clients. Gen AI is creating a focus in the market to drive those investments to now get realized so that those benefits can be achieved. I think the other thing I would point out is 3 key themes that we are seeing from our clients when we talk to them about generative AI. The first of them is it reinforces our perception that our business strategy is around technology being at the core of what has to be utilized in the future to achieve value in our clients. But it's not just about the technology, it's about the business change, it's about the cultural change.
About the context.
About the context.
Right.
About the way in which you interact with customers. And generative AI is actually creating the language for us to actually communicate that to our clients even more compellingly. There's a lot of concern around the cultural implications of Gen AI. There's also a lot of concern around the cultural implications of what needs to be done differently inside of companies to take advantage of what's going to become a new wave of data consumption and data benefit in the world. I think the second area is that we see and have reinforced our perspective that there is a lot of work to be done. Generative AI is about a lot more than chatbots.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. It's the simplest, most consumer digestible way that generative AI models could be deployed. What we are seeing is clients taking very seriously the business of building entire architectures around data streaming, data ingestion, data cleansing, data governance, data strategy, data security, then prompt engineering, vector databases, being able to tune and fine-tune and train generative AI models. That requires a lot of data, that requires a lot of duplication of data if you're not doing it the right way. The cost can skyrocket. And so we're seeing our clients focus on this shift and this emphasis, and they recognize that there's a lot of work to be done. I think the last point I would say is we're seeing a sharply increased attention span on end of life of data, of getting off of systems that are not accessible to some of these platforms and architectures to go utilize generative AI, and this is becoming an inflection point for those customers to accelerate that activity.
You know, it's great to hear what's top of mind for your customers across the board, but now I want to bring it back to Accenture, Tom, with over 700,000 people serving clients in 120 countries. You know, what is your primary focus over the near term? Because I think it's extremely important, you know, you're staying in touch with your clients' needs, but you're also using data internally as well.
Right. Well, so first and foremost, we firmly believe, and our belief has been reinforced by our customers, that the global scale, the broad business, technical, operational, and what we used to call digital, but sort of the collaborative integration around our customers, the breadth of the capability that we have is unique in the marketplace. And the type of transformational change our clients are trying to drive at a faster and faster, more and more compressed timeline requires all of those capabilities that we have to go drive. We believe that we are very unique in our ability to offer those, particularly to multinational companies, to large enterprises, to governments. And we are both we believe in, and we are continuing to invest in the opportunity to really take advantage of that and to use that strength that we have. Julie Sweet, our CEO, just announced about a week ago our intent to invest over $3 billion over the coming couple of years to train 80,000 more people in AI, to be able to position us to continue to scale this, because we are seeing an increased surge of demand. We know our clients need to wrestle with this, and we need to help them to drive this compressed transformation for themselves. You
know, Tom, it's great to hear we're coming on the top end of the segment, but Srini, for the audience watching, what advice would you give to both executives and companies alike? You know, what should they be doing now in order to be successful into the future?
I will start with a basic question, right? So imagine, now that you know the capabilities that the cloud and Gen AI can bring to the business, if you have to start your business today, how would your digital strategy look like? Start from there. Accenture did another survey among the top 700 customers whom we think are really extracting good value out of their data. And we identified 6 practices which can be used by any of the companies to really leverage the data better. First one is extricate. Take the data out of the silos. You're still locking your data in a lot of the legacy systems. You are missing out a huge opportunity to really derive insights. Get the data out into a more modern data platforms. That is the first thing. Second is extend. Expand your thinking on the scope of data across the cloud continuum. Public cloud, private cloud, network, and edge are structured, unstructured, traditional, non-traditional. Data is there everywhere, and it's like Jensen was pointing out, they are sitting on a gold mine, right? Make that sense just by extending your mindset. Third is productize. Think in a product terminology, right? Bring in the best product process that will be associated with the product, right? Configurability, value creation, and reusability, and things like that. And the next one would be automate. So now that you have the whole thing, right, you want to really show speed. Bring the concepts of data ops, move from DevOps to data ops to really automate everything. The fifth one is democratize. Put the data in the hands of the people who need the data most in the right format, in the right time. The last one, which we keep pointing out, publish, share, collaborate, and that is what, and I would say the equation is like 2 + 2 + 2 is like 42.
The power of the collaboration.
The power of
exactly.
the collaboration. And I feel Snowflake is perfectly positioned to leverage this momentum, and we are all excited to be part of this journey.
Well, gentlemen, always a pleasure having Accenture on Data Cloud Now. Thank you so much for joining me here at Snowflake Summit. An exciting next chapter.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. I'll see you soon.